What was the idea and why have you decided to create the event?
Okay, so here I have a confession to make. This is an exclusive only for WebhostingToday for my good friend Konrad. I've built my business from zero, from scratch, solely through connections, through goodwill, through honesty, transparency, and just working your way up by learning from others, attending shows like this. If I did it, I think it's my duty also to have this available to community.
Can we talk about numbers?
If we take the .ae domain name, I think we are number 3 right now. We are also in top 3 in Qatar and in Bahrain. We are far into multi-million dollar revenues. It's doing good. We are growing year by year. We pride ourselves of serving 30,000 clients. And this is the beauty of events. You never know when that meeting you had somewhere in the elevator or at the bar, where you will end up after that meeting. Maybe sometimes after like 5 years or 10 years.
My guest is Munir Badr, the founder and CEO of AEServer, which he founded over 20 years ago, eventually becoming one of the top domain and web hosting providers in the Middle East region. Last year, Munir decided to host an event focused on the domain, hosting, and cloud industry in his region called Domain Days Dubai, which turned out to be very successful. In this episode, we talk about the history of his business, the industry landscape in the Middle East, and how his event brings value to the market and helps build a community. So let's start with the basics. Tell us, how did you get into the web hosting industry and what's your story? And actually, I should ask you also, how did you get into Dubai? Because you've been in the business for over 20 years?
That's correct.
And there was not as much Dubai as it is right now back in the days. So tell us about the story.
First of all, thank you, Konrad, for having me on this podcast. I've been watching your podcast for a very long time. They're very educational, very insightful, and I really appreciate you taking the initiative doing this. And hopefully our talk today will be helpful and also inspiring to fellow people from the industry. So how did I get into Dubai? That's a good question as well. Dubai used to look like this many, many years ago when I came here, and now it's more like that skyline you see up there. So my parents moved to Dubai when I was a kid, so I had really no choice or saying if I want to be in Dubai or no. But I'm super thankful to them for choosing Dubai as a destination. I mean, my parents migrated here in search for a better life, better work, and that's how we came here in 1995 in the summer. And summers here are very harsh, but being here for almost 30 years makes you also appreciate summers. I mean, you can always find some nice activities to do. And truth is, I've been here almost my whole adult life, including my childhood life, my school, my university. So this is my hometown, my second hometown, if I can say so. And I've seen this country grow from desert to the futuristic city that we see it is today on Instagram and on TV and everyone talking about Dubai. And how did I get into the web hosting business? That was your main question. I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I think I heard this term on your show. Someone mentioned that previously. And this is very interesting because I think in the web hosting and the domain name space, there are plenty of people who are accidental entrepreneurs. And in my case, this was a project of curiosity. I was always interested in the technology. And I remember when we first got our PC at home, it was like a Pentium 3 Windows, I don't know, Windows 2008 or something like that. If my brother was playing video games, I was more into, clicking all around and learning, what's in the settings, what's in the HTML, what's HTML, right click and, view source and all sorts of technical things. And then I got to basically understand how do I get my own website address, a domain name as we know it today. And back in the days, in 2000, 2001, 2002, I remember there were lots of free website providers, like subdomain providers. GeoCity is one of them, and there was like zerocatch.com. I think I built my first website on zerocatch.com, if anyone from the audience remembers that website. And then the next stage was like, oh, how do I get my own .com? I want to be as cool as Yahoo and Google and AOL. I want to have a .com address as well. And I remember I registered my first domain name. It was a website sharing mobile games. So the same year, I remember I had my first color screen Nokia phone. So the thing about Dubai as well, and this is where the two worlds merge, is that technology came very early into Dubai because Dubai is a very big market. It was a very big, and it is until today, a very huge import-export market. So lots of people would buy and sell and transit stuff through Dubai, and obviously all the technology, be it the mobile phones, the fancy TVs, would end up on the shelves in Dubai. And then I remember we were the first to have a color screen Nokia. I remember it was a 3510i. I know this sounds like Stone Age now, but yeah, that was like not so far ago. And there were Java games, so I decided to build like a database and reviews of the best Java games available for Nokia phones, and that was my first website. And then the second website, closer to the subject, how did I get into the hosting industry? Everyone at my school knew that Munir is like the go-to guy for websites, and someone told one of our teachers that Munir can help you publish the ebook, a PDF book on the website. So then I decided to get a reseller account so I can split the access, because I had one access and I had to give access to the professor, the teacher, and that was like cPanel and WHM. So I created another cPanel account for him, and that was my first really client. And then the rest is history, as they say. I'll be happy to talk more about it throughout this conversation.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell us about AEServer. So you were a student back then, right? So what were the early challenges? Was it like, okay, I'm gonna create some websites for the professor or for your friends? How did that emerge into an actual idea of making a business, and how did it go?
Yeah, so I mean, I got the taste of, or like a learning curve of how this whole thing works, in a sense that, okay, you can now have an account and you can subdivide an account without paying anything extra, and you can sell it, right? So be it your friend or your school teacher. I think that was really the whole accidental part. I didn't know about this until I tried it. And this is why I said it was a project of curiosity, because unless you try something, unless you are curious about something, you would never really go deeper into the subject. So I
Yeah.
had basic knowledge of the DNS, of the domain names. How do you link a domain name purchased at provider A with web hosting at provider B? And this is where things started making sense. You're like, so you can do this, you can do that, you can link it, you can bundle it, you can package it. So that first sale, even though it wasn't really a sale, I mean, I did it as a courtesy to my professor, hoping in anticipation of better grades, and I did get better grades thanks to him. Fortunately, I don't remember his name right now. That was like real. That was in school. I was in high school, not in the university. That was a
Oh,
year
yeah,
around
okay.
2005, 2004, 2005, last year in my high school here in Dubai. So the same year, this was, I believe, my second last year in school. The same year, I decided, okay, now it's time for me maybe to build a website. I don't know. I cannot really say why I did it, Conrad. I cannot really remember why I decided, okay, I have to start a website and publish it and let it be out there. Maybe somebody will buy a hosting package from me. I don't have an answer to this question. I think I had a feeling or a gut feeling inside me that this is what you should do, or at least this is
Hmm.
something I was curious about at the time. And for me, it was like a personal project. So I went to Template Monster. I bought a web hosting template. There were plenty of templates for sale back then, but most of them were like in HTML. So you still would have to use, I remember, Microsoft Front Page was the go-to tool. So you would import it to Microsoft Front Page, and I would build the first website. And just add some packages, get hints from other providers, create a basic logo in Paint. And that's true. If you go to the web archive, you will find the old logo was done in Paint, including
Hmm.
the website. And then I already knew that there should be a way to automate it. How do all these big guys have a sign up form, a membership form? You go, you put in your name, your email, you sign up, you receive an email. So automation always existed in some way or the other. So I had the automation, and I was looking for like an off-the-shelf solution. I remember there was a tool called whoiscart.net, if I'm not wrong. That was the tool I initially used. Later, that company ceased to exist, and there was like a migration tool to other popular platforms, which still exist until today. And then, I had it. And then in that billing system, well, it was very basic billing system. There was like a file, like I don't remember the format of the file, but you could specify who is servers? And like, what the heck is who is servers? So I
Yeah.
was thinking, okay, .com is there, .net is there, .org is there, but I'm based in Dubai. What's the domain name for Dubai or for the United Arab Emirates? Dubai is actually the city. Everyone keeps on saying Dubai, Dubai, but the capital of UAE for record is Abu Dhabi. Dubai is like the
Yeah.
de facto tourist and business hub, but it's United Arab Emirates, and the code is .ae. So that was my really first real life interaction with a .ae. I'm like, how do you register a .ae domain name? So back in the days, there was only one provider. It was the ISP, and they were the registry for .ae. And to register a .ae domain name, let's say Conrad.ae, you would need to fill up a form. You should download a form from their website. You should fill it by hand, attach a copy of your ID, and then you have to fax it to the registry. And then wait for 7 to 10 days. Sometimes it was quicker, sometimes longer, depending on the holidays. And they would come back to you and send you an email saying, hey, your domain name registration is done. You would also attach like a credit card authorization form. So obviously I didn't have a credit card back then. I would ask my father for a credit card. So yes, family helps in this case. And we didn't have a fax machine at home. I remember I would walk down the street where we used to live in another city. It was called Sharjah. It's next to Dubai. And there was like a stationery shop under my house, and they would send like a fax, like a charge per page. And they would be like, who is this guy sending so many faxes? So I would like really gather the registrations. But before I jump into the registrations, the way this happened is that, again, I never anticipated this is going to be a business. As I said, I built this just to have it online, have it on the internet, and let it be. Then came in summer, and in summer usually people travel from Dubai somewhere, back home or on a holiday because it gets super hot. And I remember traveling with my parents, and I didn't have internet. I mean, I would go to like an internet cafe, play Counter-Strike, and from time to time log into
Yeah.
my Gmail and check my emails. And to my surprise, on one of such occasions, I opened the email and there was an order from a gentleman. I still remember he was from the US, and he placed an order for a .ae domain name, and he paid for 10 years in advance with PayPal because I had a PayPal account at that time. I knew PayPal is cool.
Yeah.
So, and he paid, and I'm like, how do I register this domain name? What should I do now? What is the process? I mean, jumping into the whole faxing and the PDF forms, this was all new to me. Again, this was also accidental learning. So I had to wait back, I think another 3 weeks to go back home, because that's when the summer ended and we went back to Dubai. And I realized there is a gap in the market. And the gap was, okay, to register a domain name, you have to be in the country. You cannot register if you're outside, or you need a representative. So I filled in that gap. I became a representative for .ae domain names. I would literally fill up the forms and attach my ID as a representative, and then your ID as the actual end user of the domain name, and fax this all together. And the rest is history, Conrad. Then we started receiving
Okay.
orders because no one was doing anything online. I basically automated a pen and paper process into a semi-automated process where I would fax it to the registry. And I was already a university student. I remember everyone would go and have fun during the breaks. I would go to the computer lab and, check my email and then process orders. So it was really cool times. It was interesting. I mean, when I think about this was so long ago, I can't even remember most of the details, but at the same time, this was it was just recently. I mean, not so many things about me or about life in general have changed. So that's how I ended up doing it. And if I jump a little bit further into the history, to my surprise, I remember in 2000 and around 2007. So that was like my second or third year into the business. And when I say business, this was more of like a side hustle. It was like a home business. So I was just doing it for fun. I was studying something completely different in the university. I was pursuing civil engineering because my dad is a civil engineer. So I'm like, I should be like my dad. What is IT? I mean, no one would need IT, right? In 2007, to my surprise, I got a call from don't remember, a courier like DHL or FedEx, and they're like, oh, we have a package for you, some delivery. I'm like, I didn't order anything. Anyway, here's my address. Delivered to me like a bundle. It was like a brochure. And inside it, it said, you're invited to a public consultation session to the relaunch of the .ae namespace, because there is like a reform happening in the country. Basically, there is a new Ministry of Communications. It's called Telecommunications Regulatory Authority. Now it's called TDRA, Telecommunications and Digital Government regulatory authority. So this was a new government, a federal body which was formed, and they basically split the domain names from the ISP because there was a new ISP coming into town, and then they basically took over the domain names. They transferred all the domain names, and they wanted to invite all the parties who were related to the space. And honestly, it was like only like a handful of people. The reason they invited me is because everyone knew me at the registry. I mean, who's this guy faxing us so many domain names every single week? Because I would bundle them up and on a weekend go to the stationery shop and send the fax, because I wouldn't do this every day. I mean, I wouldn't have time to do this. And it wasn't really many orders. It was like 2-3 orders per week. But, being a student, being financially independent and not asking, your parents for money, that was really cool. It was a very cool part. So yeah, and then I had no clue what is a registry, what is a registrar agreement, EPP policy, like what are these guys talking about, right? So then I realized there is something happening here, there is a big change happening, this is the opportunity. So I had to quickly mobilize and understand how things are worked. Of course, I had to incorporate a company, because I would need to sign a legal agreement with them. I could not do it as a freelancer anymore, working from home. So this was a very early stage, right? We're talking about 2007. I mean, e-commerce penetration was close to zero. Online payments almost didn't exist. People would not trust anything other than a brick and mortar store, right? So this is the transition I was facing, and I had to act upon. And we took the challenge. And here we are today.
So can we talk about numbers, or this is a secret information that you don't want to share?
If we speak about the market, if we take, let's say, specifically the UAE and look at the .ae domain name as the largest country code, a top-level domain name in the Arab world, in this part of the region, at almost 350,000 registrations as of October. We used to be like number 2. I think we are number 3 right now. We are also in top 3 in Qatar and in Bahrain. So we also do .qa and .bh for Bahrain. So it's very similar models. In terms of us as a company, so the company is owned by me. We are profitable from day one. We are far into multi-million dollar revenues. It's doing good. We're growing year by year, thanks to Dubai, to the growing economy in Dubai, and overall, the technological and the domain name changes and boom that's happening all over the world. Post-COVID, of course, was also a very good time for everyone in the market. And right now in the Middle East in general, in Dubai, we have an influx of lots of new people coming in here, lots of companies being set up. We are at a 30,000 clients mark. That's public information. It's on our website. We pride ourselves of serving 30,000 clients from all over the world, by the way. I mean, when I sometimes look at our data, there are some countries or some cities I have never knew they existed, honestly. I mean, like, wow, why did this person decide to buy a .com domain name from AEServer? I mean, out of so many providers out there. But yeah, hey, thank you. You don't say no, as long as it's not a fraud order.
So global reach.
Yeah, I think Dubai has positioned itself as a trusted destination, also in terms of doing business with. So people seeing, like a UAE-based company and Emirati company, how they would say here, it's trusted, it's regulated. So yeah, and again, the United Arab Emirates is a global megapolis. I mean, the population is made 90% out of expats who come here and work here. So you meet people from all walks of life here, from different industries, different nationalities, and it's a very amazing place with lots of, there's lots of coexistence happening here in terms of religions and faith, and all sorts of things like that, which makes it super easy to run a business. It's also fun because you get to test your products on different audiences, different age groups, different nationalities, and then sometimes you have to also tailor some offerings to different groups.
Is fax still in use, or how did it evolve?
I never had a fax machine at home, so thanks to that stationery, it saved me. But no, in 2007, when the reforms have been done, and I mean, I keep on focusing about the .ae because that's our primary market in the UAE. Even though, as I mentioned, we also do some business in Qatar and Bahrain. And of course, we position ourselves as a global company, but with local services. So if anyone looking for local services from this part of the region, we are the one-stop shop. But no, in 2007, the reform happened, and in 2008, the .ae namespace was relaunched as a registrar system. They got in the best consultants, best technology, and it's EPP based. So we did the whole automation, we did all our modules, and now from that day, everything is 100% automated the way it should be.
So from domain names, you've also evolved into just the shared hosting. What other services are you providing? And do you see any trends and something that will be hot topic in the next couple of years?
We always attached web hosting to domain names because with domain names the margins were always limited, and you still want to have a sticky client and a high ARPU, LTV, and all sorts of these fancy terms. Again, I learned them just a few years ago, but back in the day, I would just run and look at the final number at the end of the month or at the end of the year. So yes, shared hosting was always a critical component. So did like email solutions and SSL certificates. And back in the day, we would exclusively be like a reseller, right? We would resell everything. We didn't have anything of our own. But of course, as we evolved, as we grew, so not only just having our own accreditations, so we sell all the domain names out there, right? So we are not only limited to our local domain names. So we are a reseller for other domain names where we are not directly accredited. For hosting, we've got our own servers in Dubai, and also, so yeah, we do local hosting. That was one of our main advantages. If you say, why would I buy from AEServer? Why not just buy from provider X in the US? Well, people want local support. Sometimes they want their data to be within the country. So there've been different trends in the market, and people would follow them. But I always wanted to be unique and offer something unique. I think in 2015 or 14, yeah, we launched our first server here in Dubai, and we did local hosting. Then we expanded into VPS, dedicated servers all out of Dubai. We also do offshore web hosting, but offshore hosting we focus just on shared because we don't want to deal with something that we don't manage directly. I mean, here it's local, so we really manage it, and this is our core product. So here we have VPSs and dedicated servers. For offshore hosting, we just we've got servers at various locations around the world, like the way it's done in the industry, and we just manage them from here. We also do email solutions. We have different email solutions ranging from Zimbra to Microsoft 365, which is, by the way, also locally hosted in Dubai. And I keep on saying locally hosted. I think that's the trend I'm highlighting because a lot of companies, and we have clients from different industries, including government clients, and for them, the location of data is critical. They want to know where the data is. Even though they sign up for a Microsoft product, in the case of Microsoft 365, Microsoft also offers a choice of where you want your data to be hosted. And now we have the option of Dubai because Microsoft exists in Dubai as a data center location. So these sort of trends we would see. But of course, yeah, the main trend is that people would definitely start shifting from GTLDs to CCTLDs due to many reasons. There was always a saying that if you have a local domain name like a CCTLD, it would rank higher in Google. If you have local hosting, if the IP address of your server is within the country where the Google search is done from, then it will also rank higher. Again, some of this is a myth, some of it is true, partially it's true. There's different updates. Let's not get into that subject right now, but these were the trends that we've been seeing, and also the whole pride of showing that you are local, your company is local, is trusted. And just so you know, like the .ae domain name, it's an open, unrestricted domain name, so any person from any country can book a domain name. It's just like a .com. I remember like one of the biggest trends was that back in the day, accepting payments online was a challenge because, as I mentioned a few moments ago, the whole e-commerce penetration was very low. We had a so-called website which was similar to Amazon or to eBay, which was like a marketplace. Well, it wasn't a marketplace. It was a website where they would sell their products. Then it turned into a marketplace where merchants would list products, and then they also came up with a payment solution. And then this company was acquired by Amazon. Now it's Amazon.ae. It was called Souk.com. So Souk.com was really the biggest. It was a unicorn, I think, a unicorn deal. Back in the days, it was like 7 years ago. So this really brought a lot of change to the industry. But to accept payments online back in the day, I had to look for creative solutions. I mean, I had to create merchant accounts, sometimes in different jurisdictions, and then figure a way how do I send the money back to Dubai and what are the tax implications and all sorts of things like that. Now we have like Stripe, we have, as I said, Amazon, everything is available locally. I remember a case where we had a few clients, they would call us and they would only meet us in person to register a domain name, and they would drive all the way, like, I don't know, for 30, 40 kilometers to our office just to pay us, I don't know, $10 in cash to register a .com domain name, because they want to be sure we exist, we are
Yeah.
real, and we are not going to take the money and run away. So this was like a cultural thing. And of course, with the whole e-commerce change that everyone is paying online, this barrier was broken.
Mhm. Yeah, but that's a good topic. So should we talk more about those cultural things? Because I would imagine that in Middle East it works a little bit different than in Europe or US in terms of clients, and also based in the region, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, things are definitely different in the Middle East, and you got to live here for many years to understand it. It's, be it the language, be it the cultural
Yeah.
aspects, or the way you would deal, the hospitality, the service. Yeah. So one of the things I mentioned was about this the culture of trust, especially
Hmm.
online. When you don't see the person, you don't shake hand with the person physically, then there is no trust. So people would really
Okay.
demand a meeting. I mean, I remember I would, because I mean, I was really, it was me in the company, and my first employee was more of like my assistant at the time, and I would really spend my time going around on meetings. Sometimes those meetings would end up in selling just one domain name where I would make $2 and be happy. Sometimes I would sell a hosting package for 3 years and get the payment in advance, so it would be better. So yes, this trust of online was definitely there, and it's also part of the culture to meet face to face, to know who you are dealing with, to talk about who you are, where are you from, where is your family from, what's your last name, how long have you been here, what do you do, and then I would trust you, so I want to be in your circle.
And
And
then you would sell the $2 domain.
and then you'd sell a $2 domain, and I would go home and be so happy. Oh wow! So that's this client renews next year, and then the year after, yeah, that's good recurring
Yeah.
MRR, ARR, and all sort of.
So that would reduce the churn at the same time, right?
And yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, yeah, churn. Yeah, again, back in the day, no one. Well, not no one. I mean, I had no clue what all these terms are, and now, of course, we have to measure them. We have to keep the hand on the pulse. So yeah, that was one thing. The other thing I would say is more about the service level and the hospitality, because it's really known that in the Arabia or in the Middle East in general, you being a guest at my home, or a guest in terms of being my client, you're my guest, right? I mean, I'm servicing you. So there is a specific level of hospitality and a certain level of service, an SLA, that you would need
Okay.
to maintain to first of all position yourself very well to show that you respect the other party, because it's not always about the price, and it's not always about if you are the best or no. It's a personality thing. It's about who you are, as I just mentioned ago. There should be this trust, there should be this synergy, this exchange of energy happening. And the hospitality or the level of service was important. It means not answering, sometimes you would see, with especially with the Western providers, everything got so automated and became like, go to the knowledge base, read this, read the FAQ, it's there on the website. You couldn't do this back in the day here. You would really have to, I would call it spoon feeding, is that give all the information, be very detailed. Sometimes you would take the initiative in your hands, and like, if you had a query of how do I change the DNS record, how do I update the MX records, most providers won't do it on behalf of the clients, but we had to go this one level extra and actually, okay, tell me what are the records you're looking to change, and we will change it for you. Of course, in the future, we would realize this was slightly misused, lots of fraud happened, because this is why, I mean, if you as a client, you have the access, you have the keys, then you log in and do it. Don't ask us to do it, because there are lots of social engineering tactics where you can
Yeah.
achieve something through a customer service agent, which otherwise you wouldn't be able to achieve, so to say. So yeah, I would say these two major things were the difference, and we had to maintain this level of service, and until today we aim to maintain this level of service, is going always one step above, and offer the true Arabic, Middle Eastern hospitality to our clients, take care of them, ensure everyone is happy, sometimes do a call back, do a welcome call. And yeah, these are the little things we do.
Okay, so let's talk about your event then. And Domain Days Dubai premiered last year, the first edition. What was the idea, and why have you decided to create the event?
Okay, so here I have a confession to make. All right, maybe this is the first time I'm doing it on camera, and this is an exclusive only for
Only here.
WebhostingToday for my good friend Conrad. So, um, well, first of all, let's a little bit go back in time. Let's talk about the events landscape in the region. We spoke about World Hosting Days. If you remember, there was a local edition like called World Hosting Days.local, WHD local, and
Yeah, I
the
remember.
team back then they did host an event in Dubai. I believe it was 2014 or early 15s. It was a very fancy event, very good event. It was more of about like a CloudFest version of today, where it's a mix of hosting and domain name companies. It was at a very luxury location. It was in the tallest tower in Dubai or in the world, the Burj Khalifa.
Hmm.
There is an Armani hotel down there, so that was a cool event. However, there was really no hosting industry. There were really no providers back in the day. There were really no people, I mean, to meet, to invite. So it was different, right? It was completely different. The event itself was amazing, phenomenal. I mean, the guys have obviously good experience in building the events and they know exactly what goes into the equation of building a nice event. But the market wasn't there, even though I know
Yeah.
they tried hard to do it. Then there was a few years later a domainers meeting, like a domainers meet event where they would only call in like domainers to talk about the aftermarket. And that I was a speaker at that event as well, and there wasn't really much, again, not much people from the region at the event. They invited like top speakers, like very well-known speakers. Some of them are at Domain Days last year and this year again. So I would say, the OGs of the industry, they were in there. But again, it wasn't really well organized. The organizers were not known. They were not from the industry. And yeah, it didn't have a second edition.
Hmm.
So I would travel to events. I love events. I like speaking at events. The first event I ever spoke at was the Middle East DNS Forum, which is an event done by ICANN Middle East
Hmm.
office. It was done in Dubai. I think that was also 2014. So yeah, 2014 was the year of change, and I think
Okay.
this what planted the whole idea of events. And I was giving like a 2 weeks notice. Oh, Munir, you're going on stage, and you should talk about AEServer and local domain names, and this is done by ICANN and lots of big people. Again, for me, I had no clue who all these people are, where all these stakeholder engagements and GAGs and all these organizations. I mean, it was all new to me. I went on stage, defeated my fear of being on stage, even though I don't even know if I had one. I always just, something has to be done. I would do it. And then yeah, so I've been to all the events. I mean, a lot of people watching this show would probably recognize me and they've come across me. And I would go there because I would like to learn. Again, I still have the curiosity. I would like to learn what's new, exchange ideas, shop for products, see what's up in the market. And then so 2 years ago, good friend of mine, Helmut, who runs the London Domain Summit, he basically created the first London Domain Summit. He curated the first event. It was in a restaurant in London, and he invited me to take part. And I said, okay, London. I mean, I'm in Dubai, but I've never been to London before. Let me go to London and check out. And I was, stunned. I mean, he managed to build an event in a restaurant in London and have 100 plus people at that event, and everyone seemed to be very happy and coming together for the first time in that part of the region. So I was on a train from London, and this is the catchy part now. I was on a train with a friend from London. I think we went to not Manchester. Where did we go? I think to Newcastle for like a day tour.
Okay.
And there was no place to sit on the train because it was full, and I came late. Me and my Dubai timing. In the Middle East, if you say like see you in an hour, it means see you like in 3 hours. So I was late for the train, and we had to stand in the corridor between the two cars, basically in the middle, and talk. And I don't know, I just stumbled upon an idea. Well, if this was a good event, Helmut did a good job. What about Dubai? There is nothing happening in Dubai. Yes, there were some events, as I mentioned, Let's give the due credit to the previous events, but there is nothing happening here. Oh, hopefully something will happen. But then I said, okay, why should I wait for something to happen? Let me take the initiative in my hand. I have some free time. That's what I thought. I didn't know what goes into building an event. And I said so I gave a promise to that friend with whom I was in a train. He's also from the industry. He's watching this, who he is. And I said, okay, you know what? I will curate an event in Dubai. And, we shook hands and I took off.
And he said, yeah,
Whatever. But then he called me by the word. And then he's like, I
Okay.
think he circled back in early January saying, so what's up? Where is your event? So that was January of 2023, last year.
Okay.
And I woke up the next day. I'm like, okay, I should start doing it, So I started searching for a domain name. I started thinking who from my team I can use on ad hoc basis without hiring anyone extra for the project to build this. And then I started speaking to people, to friends from the industry. Again, I've attended all the events in the industry, so I knew so many people. I would message people, hey, what do you think about this idea? If I do an event in Dubai, I plan to bring so many people. It would be a domains, hosting, and cloud related event. I mean, everything to do with domain names, obviously, at the foundation. What do you think? And I had some verbal confirmation saying, you know what, Munir, if you go ahead and do it, we might sponsor you, or we might be a speaker, or I would attend, or I would spread the word. So I had some support like that. And this gave me confidence. Fast forward a little bit, I started looking for a name. There were lots of names I was looking at. They were all premium names available for sale. I wanted a .com domain name because I wanted to go global with this brand in the future. Then I stumbled upon Domain Days. .com. It was for sale. It was a premium domain name listed, available for sale. And I just registered it. So it was a very beautiful name, DD, and then Domain Days Dubai. So everyone calls, if you look at the social media, everyone does hashtag DDD, Domain Days Dubai. So I wish I could have gotten DDD.com. But then I said, okay, today we are Domain Days Dubai edition. I mean, and then we have, of course, plans doing this in different cities across the Middle East and Africa. So that's the long-term vision. And then, of course, all the hard stuff happened. I remember I attended another event around May. It was May of 2023. And I knew when I come back to Dubai after that event, that's the time where I have to start grinding and working on the event, because time is now my biggest enemy. At the same time, business has been doing very well. The primary business, AEServer, been growing year by year, hiring new people, expanding, everything is good. So I guess I didn't get bored, but I want a new challenge, maybe to prove to myself that I'm still an entrepreneur at heart and I can do another business. And I started working on this, and this was a hell of a journey.
Wasn't that easy as it looks like?
It wasn't easy. I mean, the amount of elements, the amount of people you talk to, the small details, from the bureaucracy of actually even securing an event permit to do an event in Dubai, to finding a location, to start talking to speakers, to creating a website, to selling tickets, to accepting payments, to looking for an events agency. All this was done by one person. Later on, I assigned a contractor, Jason. He does my marketing. He's a CMO. He would help me with all the marketing and the outreach stuff. But everything that was going behind the scenes was done by me. And then I reached out to a friend of mine here locally, who's actually our official co-host of the event last year and this year. And he helped me with a few speakers, some of the groundwork here with the permits and everything. It's the Dubai Blockchain Center. It's an incubator for blockchain projects, but the CEO, he is also like a long-time domain investor and domainer himself. So for him, it really resonated, and he just wanted to help. And I've been literally cherry picking people. I've been calling people. I mean, I remember I sent you maybe hundreds of LinkedIn messages. I've been spamming people, emailing them, WhatsApping, Telegram, all the channels out there. And you know what? I think we launched the website in May last year, 2023. And using social media, I mean, talking about the power of social media, in my case, LinkedIn, it just blew up. I mean, I would post insights into building the event. okay, here we are today, we're doing this in November. Tomorrow our website goes live and we start selling tickets, and had a promotion, an early bird promo. I wake up next morning, I have like three or four orders. I'm like, who are these people? How did they find about the website? Where did they read about this? And there were some domainers, well-known domainers, who actually live in Dubai now, so they moved to Dubai. So for them, it was a no-brainer to support the event, especially they are here in Dubai. And then this really, every single order, every single ticket sale, every single sponsorship inquiry that I received will give me more and more motivation. Of course, I reached out to all those verbal agreements that I had, and some of them bailed out, saying, "Oh, you know what? Sorry, times are different." And then
Yeah.
those who, some of the closest friends said, "Yeah, maybe next time." Then some random people, some people from the industry I don't even know, started approaching me. I think the way why we succeeded is that I think initially everything was structured very well. If you look at the communication that we do, the reach out, the website, the packaging of the product, it played a key role. It was very simple to
Yeah.
follow. All the information was available. I mean, it sounds very trivial, but some event managers miss out on the basic details. I made sure I leverage and utilize the trendy keyword of Dubai. Dubai is highly
Oh yeah.
respected. Everyone wants to travel to Dubai, not just for business, but also stay a few days on
Yeah.
holiday, just leverage the time being here. So I leveraged the Dubai as a city. So come to Dubai, experience domain days, meet new people who never travel to events outside of the Middle East. I mean, some people here have a challenge. Okay, if I need to go to an event in Germany, I need to obtain a visa. I need to go and apply for a visa like 2 months in advance. Travel to the US, you need a visa. So for some people, they're like, you know what? If there is nothing happening here, I'm not spending the budget and time and effort to go there.
Yeah.
And I think this is a community we managed also to cater to. So last year we had an amazing mix. We had lots of people from the region. And again, my aim was never to reinvent any of the other events out there. My aim was to do an event targeting the local community, bringing all the players from the local region and exposing them to the big international players who are essentially our sponsors and the biggest partners and have sponsorship budgets for specifically such shows, right?
Yeah.
So we had representatives from everywhere, from the UAE, from Saudi Arabia, from Egypt, from Morocco. Moroccans, if you're watching this, thank you so much. I mean, there were really a lot of people from Morocco. I never knew there is such a big domaining, like domain investors and hosting community in Morocco. I learned so many new things and I uncovered so many markets myself. I mean, this is why we said, listen, come to Dubai and let's charter the uncharted territories together. This was like
Yeah.
the slogan initially. Yeah, we sold I think 200 tickets. We had 191 person attending the event, representing like 50 plus nationalities, around 70 different companies. As I said, lots of people from the region. We had the .ae registry was a speaker. We had people from Bahraini registry.bh. We had local providers, from the region, my competitors. And again, this was a very neutral event. I mean, it is a neutral event. This event is built separately from the main business. Everyone is welcome. There were like 5 or 6 .ae domain registrars out there who are essentially my competition. But again, this was a completely different idea. At
Yeah.
that event, we have not competition. We are all friends. We're all exchanging ideas and building the future relationship. The domain name and hosting industry is a very small community if you look at it,
Oh
comparing it
yeah.
to other niches. Like if you look at oil and gas or aviation, it's a completely different industry. So I think I like dealing with people, organizing things. I'm a very organized person in life as well. So, working on these components and bringing everyone together, this was cool. This was really cool. And I'm doing the same thing right now. I mean, we're just around 20 days away from the event, and it's as if I'm doing it for the first time.
But it was successful, right? So we are talking about the second edition because it worked, and now you want to continue, right? What are the plans for this year's edition? And maybe tell us a bit more about the speakers that are joining this year.
Sure. Yeah. So as I said, we had around like 90 plus percentage attendance last year. And the way I've built the event, I've built it in a premium. It's a premium segment event. It's a pay to attend event, and sponsors would sponsor their speaking slot or their visibility at the event, and attendees would basically pay. when you're buying a ticket, you commit and you're actually
Yeah.
getting value in the return. It's a service I'm offering you, right? Plus you are taken care of. You're in one of the best locations in Dubai. You're on the Palm Jumeirah Island, which is a man-made island in the shape of a palm, which can be seen from space. It's a stunning 5-star beach resort. It's not a business hotel somewhere on the outskirts of the city. If you are coming to Dubai for the first time, I'm showing you the best Dubai has to offer in terms of location, service, hospitality, food, safety, and everything. And on top of this, the event is done in November. In November is when the weather changes. Actually, in October is when the change happens from summer to the better weather. It's beautiful. And again, this is what other reasons you need for me to convince you to come to Dubai. Plus the logistical part.
Yeah.
The airline is one of the best airlines in the world. You have direct flights to like 132 cities. You can fly from Vancouver to Dubai, from Seattle, from Australia, I don't know, from New Zealand. There
Yeah.
are direct flights literally from anywhere. I mean, what stops you from coming here? It's a touristic place.
Yeah.
Entry requirements are minimal. Most people don't even need a visa or get one on arrival. It's meant for events. It's a business hub. There's like hundreds of events happening here in a day across the city, from blockchain to technology to food to aviation to so many different things. So it was a total success. I mean, we had lots of members from the media present, lots of print and online tier one media published about us. It's for the first time there is this group of people. Again, we had a mix of everyone from the domain name world. We had domain name investors. We had policy and trademark related conversations. We had people from the regulatory bodies. We had ICANN. ICANN was our sponsor. We had the speaker from the .ae registry, which is the federal government, as I mentioned. We had around 35 speakers. Then, of course, we had all our grateful sponsors. Them sponsoring some speaking slots where they would share not just general, oh, we are company X from that market and we are so cool. No, the whole idea was to share your insights from this market, because as internet companies, as domain names, we are all global by nature, right? We don't just sell to one. I mean, if you look at any domain name marketplace, they obviously have clients from all over the world. So they have some data from Middle East as well. So I precisely asked them, and even this year, I asked them to share relevant data from this part of the region. Don't tell me about number of domains you sold in the West or in US or I don't know, in Europe. I want you to deliver the insights and uncover insights from this region. So we were domain days MENA, Middle East, and North Africa. This year we expanded to and became MEA, Middle East Africa, because we have people all the way from South Africa. We have the CEO of the .za registry. We have great gentlemen coming in from Kenya. We have one of the biggest hosting groups also from Africa coming in. We have again lots of people from Morocco, from Qatar, from Egypt, from Saudi Arabia, from Bahrain, from Tunisia. So
Mm-hmm.
we are from Jordan. We are like a getaway to the whole region, and Dubai is the getaway. Being a hub, being the business hub, being the financial hub, it is a getaway. So all these came into the equation to make a successful event. And
Mm-hmm.
the aim for this year is to build upon the momentum, which means we look for new speakers, new content, new faces. And for me, this event, I'll be very honest here, it's never about the numbers. In Dubai, trust me, I can build an event and get you 2,000 people in the room. I promise you that I can build an event, I can relax my entrance policy and get 2,000 people to the room. But these people will be irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be irrelevant. For us, it's about the quality of people and the exclusivity of the connections you will make. If you look at the attendee list, our attendee list is public to all our attendees. And you will see there's lots of decision makers, C-level executives, people who really mean business. And this is exactly the people we want to network together. So we have an expanded list of speakers. We have more interesting topics. Of course, we also try to carry more trendy topics like AI in the domain name space. We also have the new GTLD round coming up. So thanks to ICANN, who is also a sponsor this year, they'll be talking about the new GTLD round. And Some of our sponsors are curating interesting sessions about how do you own your own GTLD or your .brand GTLD. Also, we have cybersecurity. We are not just about domain names. Domains are the foundation of our industry, but we have
Mm-hmm.
day one, which is more about domain and hosting industry focused, and day two is more about technology focused, where we speak about cybersecurity. Even we go into topics like policy, community development. We also have a great session this year about diversity in the space. We have I think the session is called the Champions of DNS and the women in the DNS space. So we have a great panel of our female colleagues who are talking about the differences also and challenges of working in the DNS space from the perspective of being in this part of the region versus other parts of the regions, and
Mm-hmm.
what are the similarities and differences. Again, we need to uncover some trends here and to understand, because one of the message we also carry out is that we are here to do business. We are open for business. We received so much interest from companies who never did any business with the UAE last year. They all started exploring UAE as their next market to enter.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm welcoming more competition for AEServer in one sense, but hey, it's an open market, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's more about building this community and seeing it thrive and building the connections, because I've built my business from zero, from scratch, solely through connections, through goodwill, through honesty, transparency, and just working your way up by learning from others, attending shows like this, and expanding. So if I did it, I think it's my duty also to have this available to. I mean, I know I sound like a Robin Hood now, probably, but it is really true. It's about the community. I just enjoy events so much. So that's the story. And I'll give you some insights, Conrad. Actually,
Tell me.
we are around 20 plus days away from the event. We've crossed 200 and almost 220 registrations, and we just have a handful of tickets left because the capacity again is limited from the venue point of view, from the tickets we initially applied for. So so not going to be about the number or about selling more tickets. It's about having more quality people. We did our best to send out the message, that the early bird is almost over. The hotel rooms are almost sold out. I think we have more than 50% of the people staying at our venue hotel, which is fantastic because you get to meet at breakfast, you get to meet at lunch, at dinner, at the evening bar upstairs, at the pool, at the beach, and you never know where that connection will happen with your next potential
Yeah.
business partner or your employer or your vendor, right? And then you will do business with them. And this is the beauty of events. You never know when that meeting you had somewhere in the elevator or I don't know at the bar would end, where you will end up after that meeting. Maybe sometimes
Yeah.
after 5 years or 10 years. This happened to me. I'm sure this happens to many people and to you, and people can resonate with this.
Should we also talk about the future of the event? I imagine that you are not stopping on the second edition and you want to continue. And you told me a little that you had some plans. So what about that?
True. I would not like to stop. The momentum is there, and if the audience and the attendees, especially the sponsors who are committing their money, if they get value, they see true value from the event. If they are happy, they're satisfied, they've met their marketing objectives, they've met potential prospects to do business with, and then if general attendees are happy with the overall structure, the content, the people they meet, and we do surveys. Again, I'm not doing this just to spend my free time, which is almost zero these days. The demand is there, and if the demand is there after this show as well, after we run the surveys, I will continue to expanding. I believe now we are managing to attract more people. We had some skeptical people last year who didn't know, okay, who is this Munir from Dubai, who he thinks he is building an event, he has no
Now
clue.
they know you.
Yeah, now everyone knows, and I think I've broken down so many stereotypes, and I've broken down so many walls throughout the way, and people are watching me. Trust me, there are lots of people also from within the events space are closely watching every step I do, and there is lots of things happening in the background, especially with the event timings and the dates, and because I try to avoid any other events. I mean, I found a window November, plus November is a no-brainer. We did our event last year after the ICANN meeting in Hamburg. This year we are doing it right before the meeting in Istanbul. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, from Dubai to Istanbul, it's like 4.5 hours flight time. We have around 50 people I'm aware about from our event who are going, I think, all in one flight to Istanbul. So you come to Dubai, you meet new people, you attend to main days, then you enjoy the weekend in Dubai. I don't know, go shopping, go to the beach, enjoy the weather, and then you take a flight to Istanbul, you attend the ICANN meeting, and then you go back, and then pretty much the year is over. That's it. So there are a few events also looking around right now. I heard about changing their dates, so they're watching me very closely. I think I've stepped on a few feet by building this. But look, I'm not here to stop. I want to continue building. I did mention we are Middle East and Africa. I would like to stick to this region. I would like to build momentum to this region. We also have lots of people coming in from Asia. We have people from Bangladesh, from India, a huge community of Indian hosters, from Pakistan, from we had people from Singapore, from Malaysia last year. Even this year, I'm yet to do a deep analysis on the attendees, but yeah, the diversity is huge. And again, even though we are domain days Dubai, and yes, we do focus on regional aspects of the event, again, we are a global industry. We serve people from all over the world. So domain days, in my vision, would end up being another event on the calendar where, yes, it is located in a very niche region and focused on a particular region, but the diversity, the content of the event will always be global because that's the nature of our business. So I would continue building on this, getting more people, more speakers, and evolving the whole structure, hopefully building up a team. And then, yeah, now I know how it works. So it will be easier for me to delegate it to my team members.
Mm-hmm. And you think you will stay in Dubai, or are you thinking of changing the location?
We are looking at this. That's a very good question. I mean, we are looking for this, and the way we would do it. I mean, I mentioned we have a local co-host in Dubai, and if we manage to identify a co-host in one of the neighboring countries or cities here around, we would definitely don't mind doing it. Again, we have to consider the logistical factors and many other factors. Essentially, I would keep on building up the momentum in Dubai if there are no options to do it in other places, or I feel there is no demand for other places. But eventually, we will spill out to the neighboring countries all across the region. That's the long-term vision, if I might say. Again, this could change at any moment depending on the circumstances, but this is like my my growth plan for the event. However, I think initially we need to build the momentum here. And some people are like, okay, you're doing it in the same hotel. Why didn't you change the venue? I think I perfected the event last year, in my opinion, and in the opinion of people who left honest reviews without me even asking them. And now it's really hard for me even to beat my own record, because I was really squeezed like a lemon. I did my best, like the best hotel, best venue. We had an amazing after party. We had like the second largest boat in Dubai. The only reason I didn't get the only largest boat in Dubai, because I mean that could fit like 500 people. It would be like a desert out there. So we got the second largest boat. We went for a 4-hour cruise. The weather was fantastic. We had unlimited food and beverages, drinks, open bar, a DJ playing, like the skyline of Dubai, all the buildings are like lit up. It was just magical. And then, I had the biggest shock of my life. This is actually an interesting point to highlight. So we basically moved all the people by buses from the venue hotel, which is like 10 minutes away from Dubai Marina, from where the boat starts. So we had 3 buses leaving. They were full, around 40 people in each bus. On the way back, when I went to the buses, I only found one bus half full. I'm like, where are all the other people? So I had the panic. I had the biggest panic of my life. I mean, we lost everyone. Tomorrow, everyone will be pissed at me. They will start writing on LinkedIn, that this event is bad and so on. But then, okay, the buses went back to the hotel. I eventually found out that people wanted an after party. So because the area where the boat is berthed, it's a very touristic area, lots of restaurants, and look, Dubai is all about nightlife, because the lifestyle here is all about when the sun sets, that's when the city becomes magical. And most venues are open until like 3, 4, 5 a.m. Some venues are 24 hours. That's when people start going out, because it's hot during the day and you kind of shift your time zone to live more of a nightlife, not like the
Okay.
party nightlife, but in more of like a night shift, I would say. And then just people decided that they want more, and they spread out across all the different restaurants and bars in the area, and they had fun. I mean, I heard crazy stories the next day. I mean, this I cannot say publicly, but yeah,
That's good. That's good.
yeah, it was really good. So I was happy. I was, of course, squeezed. I woke up in a very weird state. On the next day, I was like completely dead. I was depressed. I'm like, all this hard work, 5 months of no sleeping and hustling 24/7, and now it's all over. All the people are gone. So what's next? My life is empty. It took me
Oh
some
yeah.
time to recover. So it took me some time to recover. This year it's much easier, I would say, less stress. But yeah, we are 3 weeks down the line, and we still have a lot of stuff to do, I must say. But it's going to be really good. I mean, yeah, we're going to have lots of new faces, new people, a very similar setup, because I think it worked very well. I don't want to amend it a lot. And yeah, you'll see it for yourself as well.
Oh yeah, I will. Okay, so I think it covers it. Thank you, Munir, for the interview, for all the insights. And what should I wish you for? Have a great event this year, and have many great events in the future. Grow your audience, grow the community, and grow your sponsorship pool. And well, all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Konrad, for having me on this show. I hope all the insights and the little comments and the inspiration which I try to share through this camera, through the screen, would help you. If you are an aspiring entrepreneur, or if you're a veteran in the hosting industry, we all have common things to share. And yeah, that's the idea. It's about exchanging of information. It's about learning from each other, and doing business at the end of the day with each other. That's all I want from this community. So I look forward to seeing you all in Dubai. I'll take care of you, I promise. The best SLA level. If you have any complaints, you can personally hold me responsible for that. You take my email from Konrad. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be good. Let's build this region together. Let's charter the uncharted territories together. And if you need anything in this region, I'm your person to go to.
Perfect. Thank you, Munir.
Thank you, Konrad. Appreciate it.